Alright, this video I want to go over a realistic knife self-defense video. This is to protect your safety regardless if you practice martial arts or not, to give you a realistic advice on what to do if somebody tries to attack you with a knife. Regardless if you practice martial arts or not, the day might come when somebody pulls a knife on you, and these are my recommendations on what to do. So this is an extreme situation. This is like a lose-lose situation. I'm going to be the person, I'm going to be the threat, being the male. She's going to be the female that's going to be the one that's going to have the knife pulled on her. She's the victim, I am the offender, I am the criminal. So not only is it a male, but it's the person that has a knife as well. So I'm going to go over 5 different options today that you could go through. Option number 1, so get on the ground.
You're going to say anything.
Alright, go back, close the door. So basically the scenario is this. That's option number 1. So scenario is the guy pulls a knife out and he's trying to do a sexual assault. He's not just asking for money, but he's going to tell her to get on the ground and he's going to do whatever he wants to do. He pulled out the knife, she ran. Alright, now the thing is, the problem with that option is one of the safest options, one of the best options, but the problem is if she's not good at running, and say I chase after her and say I'm fit, I'm just as fit as her and I can actually chase her down, then that's going to be an issue, right? If I just stayed where I was at, then she was good. But if I chased after her and I chased her down and I stabbed her in the back or whatever, tackle her with my knife, then we got some problems going on, right? So that's option number 1. But you gotta practice sprinting, practice jogging. You gotta be in really good shape for that option, to work. Okay. Option number 2. Prepare for that one. All right. So we're gonna move this way so we can see what's going on. So it's probably right here is good. Alright, so drawing the firearm. Okay, get back up. Alright, so downfall is the option number 2. You need to have, if you want to carry legally, you got to have a concealed carry license. So that's something that you'd have to get if you want to follow the law. Another problem is you need to have a lot of training because you see, it took her for a long time to draw the firearm. And I was just standing there. And another thing is, even if she was good at drawing the firearm, there's studies out there that show that you need at least 20 feet, 21 feet before you can even draw the firearm and shoot the offender in time. And we're so close already. So the person pulls out the knife, chances are, if he really wants to, he could hurt you right away. So even if you have a gun, that right there is not an absolute, it's not going to absolutely save your life at that moment. You saw it for yourself. She didn't practice too much of drawing it. Took her too long. But that is another option. If you could gain distance, draw your firearm, shoot the offender, or at least tell the person to drop the knife, that is one of the best options. The firearm is the best weapon against a knife, by far. But the thing is, not everybody's going to have the ability to carry a gun or have the legal right to, or some people might not even want to carry a gun. But like I said, you still need a lot of distance between you and the offender that has a knife if you have a gun. Alright, so that's option number 2. Option number 3. Prepare for option number 3. Get on the ground. Alright, so that's option number 3. She pulled out her own knife. And she pulled out pretty quick, which was really good. Now, the downfall of this one is that it requires a lot of training. Now it's a knife fight. I got a knife, she's got a knife. And it becomes like sparring at that moment. And being a male, it could still mean that I have an advantage if I'm highly trained or if I'm stronger. She needs to be really trained with that knife. So this is where martial arts training comes into play a lot. If you want to defend somebody with a knife that pulls a knife out on you, you got to do a lot of training. She pulled that out really good, really quick. That was good. Same thing with the firearm. Don't expect for you to be able to defend yourself against somebody that pulls a knife on you when you don't even train with the firearm at all. You just carry it with you, or it's stuck in your purse somewhere, and you got to dig through all the stuff, and it takes you like 30 seconds to get the gun. By the time he pulls the knife out on you. So she pulled it out quick, but just because she pulled it out quick doesn't mean she's going to win the knife fight at that moment. But what it could mean is she could pull out the knife, and if she can run at the same time, and if she loses energy and he's chasing after her, then she could turn around and fight him with the knife. So that will utilize two options at the same time, right? Another good thing about the knife is that it's not illegal. Pretty much anybody is allowed to carry a knife by law. So you can have the knife with you at all times. So that's a really good option to kind of, give you a chance against somebody that does have a knife. But the thing is, the person that has a knife, you don't know what type of training he has. But that at least kind of equals the playing field. It does equal the playing field. Now it's a knife fight. And this requires a lot of training. So I'll put it like this. If you are not good at sparring, you will probably not be good at the knife fighting either. So you got to make sure that you're good at sparring if you want to survive against a knife fight, knife on knife. Alright, let's go to option number 4. On the ground. Alright, that was option number 4. She had a collapsible baton. Now you see how quick she drew that out. She drew it out really quick. She did really well doing that. Now that right there gives her an advantage because she has range and she could pretty much, disarm me with that weapon if she knows what she's doing. So that's a good option for her. But the downfalls of that is that it's not legal. She's not allowed to carry that with her. Only cops are allowed to have that. So that's the problem with that option right there. Another thing is she needs a lot of training. Even though she has an advantage because of range, it doesn't mean that she'll win the confrontation just because she's holding that. She needs to know what she's doing. And she needs to know how to use it. She needs to know how to keep distance. Once again, she needs a lot of martial arts training to survive a knife fight, or to survive against a knife being pulled on her as she pulls it out. Once again, she could utilize the option of pulling it out and then running as well. So then now the person's chasing after her. If he can't chase her, then that's great. But if he can chase her and he's getting closer and closer, she might have to turn around and start fighting him with this right here. Another thing is, she might not have that on her, but she might run and find a stick that's like that size and then use that stick to fight against the person that has a knife. Or she might grab a big rock and find the rock and throw the person at with the knife. She might find something that's similar to that out there on the streets. But the thing is, you can purchase it. You can even get it online. But as far as carrying it is concerned, if the police find that on you, they can lock you up for having a weapon that you're not supposed to have. That's the downfalls of that. Alright, let's go to the last option, number 5. Alright, so number 5, it's pretty much just a smaller version of the one that she just pulled out. This one's a lot easier to carry, and it still gives her an advantage. Notice the difference of how much reach she has with this thing compared to the knife. So once again, same thing as the other one, you still need a lot of training, but it's just something, it is illegal, once again, that's the downfall of carrying that. But the knife is not illegal, so this is one of the best options, is to carry a knife with you. In case somebody draws a knife out on you, okay, you draw the knife out on him, and then at least it's a fair fight at this moment. then it becomes, like I said, sparring again, and you need to be really proficient in sparring if you want to survive against this knife. But these are some practical solutions. You know, this is not Hollywood movies and stuff like that where you can just disarm a person with a knife so easily. I don't really teach people stuff like that because I know how difficult it is to disarm somebody with a knife, especially if he's highly trained. And I don't really teach people how to use these weapons because I don't know who's watching. You know, because if it's the offender that's watching, then I'm making him get better. I need to share this information with the right people, the people that are not using it for wrong reasons. But at least this gives you an idea of the realistic way to defend yourself against somebody that pulls a knife out on you. Anything? Questions?
How do you close this?
Slam it against the ground, but not this ground.
Oh,
It's gotta
okay.
be hard ground, just slam it.
Okay.
Like cement.
Got it.
Okay?
Yeah.
What would you do if somebody pulled a knife out on you?
My first inclination would be to run. That would be my first thought. I've been trained with sticks, not so much with knives. But if it came down to me having him attacking me or running me down, I would grab whatever is at my disposal and fight for my life. So if it's a garbage can lid, if it's a bottle, if it's whatever it is that I can grab that I feel would do harm and protect me, I would do that. But my first thing would be to run.
Yeah.
I'd run first, yeah. And if I had on heels, something that I learned, take off your heel, because that's a weapon in and of itself. So if I'm wearing heels, of course I can't take off running if I'm if I'm wearing sneakers. So I take the heels off and I would use those. So first thing would be to run. If I can't run, use what's on me. Usually high heels are really great. And if he runs me down, then whatever it is I can grab. Grab for my life. Yell fire. Don't cry for help because usually you won't get it, but yell fire and grab whatever you can.
Yeah, if you don't have any weapons and running's, they chase you down and then you lost your energy and you have no other option than to fight the person, that's where martial arts training comes in. That's when you gotta get really good at sparring. So.
That's what I'm here.
Yeah. Hopefully this video helped you out and give you some practical, real solutions to deal with this situation. Thank you.